Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for the 4th of June. We'll be looking at the ASX. We'll also look at the materials sector, which will also include BHP, RIO and Fortescue, and we'll also have a little look at the banks as well. So with the ASX 200 here, we've been taking a cautious view to the upside here. All we've really been doing since we've had the low in the S&P 500 and this low here is really looking for a move back into this box here, and well, we're in that box now, so which is the 50 and the 61.8% retracement level here at roughly around the 6,000 mark here. So we could see the market terminate here. If the market was going to climb higher, then we would want a really nice support on this particular level. So we'd want to see the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then a corrective pattern here, and then we'd want to see that top there taken out and so on from there. So this is a process, and it's going to take time before we can actually confirm that. We may be able to confirm that with other markets within Australia that are leading, or commodities that are leading, or even the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, which is really leading all of them, and so on. So but like I always say, we'll just step by step, and we'll just be a little bit cautious about the situation. So let's go in and have a look. So on the the other termination point here as well is that the materials sector that's really led this up through here, we're seeing it, BHP and RIO, sort of looking at their current tops as well, so that they'll tie in nicely with this market. So as we go here, we'd been looking at this in terms of the move up here as an A wave here, and we had to look at it as an A and a B and a C here for the B wave here. But we've sort of moved beyond that now, because we were looking at, if we had the B wave here, then we'd be looking, oh well, we can still have it this way. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, I've just lost the plot a little bit. What that would do if we had it here would make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here just the third wave. So in a way, we could look at it, I might as well look at it now, and 1 and 2 here, and then we just shove this across here and make that the third wave here, and make that the fourth wave here. So between 2 and 3 here, we've got 5 waves here in this case. This one here is not finished yet, so we'll be moving a little bit higher there. So this is a real possibility here, and yeah, we'd be looking at that. That's not the problem. But I just wanted to be the conservative view. Well, I'll just copy that and put that there as well. And I'll just move that here. So I just really wanted to track this 5 wave structure here at this stage here. So that's what we've really been working on. We've got long trades in the market all the way up through here, and this is where our focus should be at this stage. We don't really need to look at the bigger picture here. We're not doing portfolio stuff. We're just trading CFDs and stocks short term to the upside. So I don't have to worry about strategies just yet for the long side. So with that in mind, we can move in. So it was a 2-hour chart here that we'd been looking at the triangle pattern with here. The reason I don't particularly like the triangle pattern here is because wave C here has got 5 waves in it and not 3 waves in it. But this here as wave 1, it does count as wave 1 better on the cash market with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, so it counts nicely on the cash market. Just doesn't look good on the mix here between the futures and the cash market as a CFD price here. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So with that in mind, all our focus really is just on this move through here. So let's just drill into that. So picking it up on this blue wave 4 here, we're looking at wave 1 here and 2 here, and then looking at all of this as the third wave here, fourth wave and fifth wave. So a little bit of a dance across here for this. We want to really be looking at locking in some profits at 6,000. We know that the market can move higher as well within this third wave here. So we'll go in and have a look at that. I've got a few little counts for this. So I'll see what I've got on the 15-minute chart and the tick chart and go back to those. So first of all, we need to look, we're at a large number, so we either need to lock in some profit here and a fair bit of it, or take profit here. So I'll leave that up to you after I finish my little spiel here. Then you can decide what you need to do at that point. So I can clearly see that we've got wave 1 here and 2 here. So it would make all of this wave 3 here for this market. Yeah, so with our trades, we'd been building into trades here, and we've put in another one here the other day, and then we talked about getting long on the 5.9 support here. You may have been long just on this little high here, and that's okay. That's cool, even better. You would have had to suffer this, but you would have kept your stop under the level here, no doubt. But in this pattern here, just being a bit realistic about it, we've had really the first high above the level, which is this one here, then back and then back here. So it's that second high that we take. So the market came down through here and then back again. So at the latest, I'm saying you should have been in here for this. I mean, you may not have been, but it's worth discussing things in hindsight. And you may have been long on this little high here as well, and that's fine as well. And you may have kept building in, and that's fine as well. But it's not. It's not the end of the world. Just sort of shooting the breeze a little bit. So when we hit 6,000, you know that if you've been long with me long enough, you know that when we get to big numbers, it's time to get out and take profit and so on and so on. So the count here, I can say that this move up here counts nicely as wave 1 here, little ABC for wave 2 here. And this move here, I was looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4 here, but it's not counting very well with that. We've got wave 4 overlapping wave 1 here, so I'm not quite sure how to do that. So we'll just go to the tick chart and we'll pull that apart in another way here. So this is the way I'm doing it. So what I've done here, and I don't know if it's correct because I have a little bit of a problem with this in the US markets as well. This is where the riots were happening across America, and it was a bit of a rough journey for the wave count in that regard. But I was thinking that I would just have wave 2 here and look at all of this as wave 1 here, and then wave 2 to here, and then little wave 1 and 2 in here, and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave here, the fourth wave here, and then just looking at this last leg up here as the third wave here in 5 waves of 1 and 2 here, and a little bit dodgy in here. And I probably need to go back over this 3 and 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for that. So, if it is this green wave 4 here, then it can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 less degree, and that's the 38.2% retracement level there. So it could pull back into this space here. So that's why it's really important to take a fair bit off the table here. Now, of course, what can also happen on Thursday is, because let's just check where the S&P had finished off here. So it's up at 1.4%, so it's quite strong. Obviously, this market has already got that priced in, but that means that the stock market will simply open higher and probably lift this higher as well. So in that particular case, then I would have made a mistake and we would be going up here as such. But the other point too that I want to make is that even if we do go up through here, we're still going to come back down. Thursday has got a habit of opening higher and then trading down for the day. And then it's only really late in the afternoon that we can look at gleaning a few positions in the market, just a few, and then building on those through the US side of the thing, and adding on Friday morning and adding on Friday afternoon if the market's looking strong again. That's the bullish weekly cycle, and that's on in the education section on our website, so you can have a look at how the weekly bullish cycle works. And it's kind of helpful in a way, because if you see it like playing out like that in line with the wave count, it just is another tool that helps you work, the empty space that sits in front of us. So in a nutshell, we can expect the market to move higher and then drop down for the day. We can certainly expect a correction across this level here, and this 6,000 here, we have group 1 above, which is 1, 2, and 3, and then group 2 below here. So this area here is the swing range for the correction at this point. If the 30 becomes support, well, then we're going to be going up from that point. If this group 2 here becomes the resistance, then expect the market down to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here in this instance here. So we certainly expect some type of corrective move across here. So just going back to say the hourly chart here, we can expect a little move to open higher here somewhere, and then down here for the day, and we're looking for something like this. So look, normally we just trade to the level, get out, and then we wait for the setup on the other side over here. These two little things here sort of bother me a little bit, so it may even take us a little bit higher here, but I think we've done our job here. I mean, if it was me, I'd just take it off the table there and then just enjoy myself, because it doesn't really matter why this is flickering around the 6,000, even if it's 50 points either side or whatever. Eventually, it's going to reveal itself as support or resistance, and then we move from that point. Also, what we need to bring in now as well is the iron ore, because the iron ore, copper, and crude oil has been moving things along a little bit. I don't have the count on this crude area here, but we're coming up to this level here, so we're definitely going to see pressure come in here. This market, this move up here hasn't corrected yet, and it's likely to. It doesn't mean that it doesn't need to continue up here, but it's reaching a medium level here, and there will be a resistance there. Our local market going a little bit higher above the 6,000 into the 61.8% mark is critical. This is iron ore here on the daily chart here, and what we've been looking at is 5 waves to the upside here. I think there's one more little move into the upside here to finish this off here, and then we can either come all the way down here, or we'll have some sort of ABC correction here, and then we're going to be pushing up into a bigger bull market at that point. This is what I need to figure out, but we're just tuning back into Australian stocks, so that means I need to tune back into the commodities and the Australian dollar. We can still see the Aussie dollar moving higher as well. We've been looking at this little track moving up through here. Looks like it's got an impulse wave to the downside here, so this wave 4 can get a little bit uglier here, but we haven't finished this side of things just yet. So right, so just looking in here, I was going to go straight to the tick chart here before I look at BHP and so on. So from the top here, we'd been looking at a move down here. We had what did we have? We had 5 waves in this little structure here. So we knew that after a correction, we're going to get another 5. So we have made a new low here. So it can be the A, the B, and the C here. That means that would need to stay in place here. This could also be wave 1 to the upside with an ABC pattern here as well. Yeah, we'll just see. It looks, the whole thing looks corrective, but this point across here, that would be the long trade to the upside here for iron ore, but that would also help obviously RIO, BHP, and so on at that point. So a move above that would be bullish at that point. Otherwise, the mark, well, technically, really, it's this one here. I'm just being a bit cheeky, but it could certainly move down from that point. The only way it could, but it doesn't sort of make any sense because that's 5 waves. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 5 in here. So this would be here. This one up here is a little bit odd as well. I can see 5 waves to this point here, and then we've got this thing here. So I'm seeing an overlap. I'm seeing an overlapping of wave structures. I'm seeing corrective waves in here. So I'm feeling that this is all a corrective pattern at this stage. So taking this high out here would be the safe trade. Anything below that is higher risk, so that means you put in less at that point. But my main point here is just to try to figure out if there's another little push up in this iron ore price here, which will help BHP and RIO and Fortescue to the upside there. So if we look at BHP, so BHP here, we'd been looking all the same as the iron ore. This is just 100 ticks. There's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and we're looking for wave 5 to make a new high above this one or this one. It just got really messy in here. I wasn't sure how to count it, and this wave 4 may be sitting over here, and this is very tricky to count in here. It's not displaying really nice wave structures. I can understand some of it, and some of it I don't. You know, I can see things like 3 waves here, so I could go long across here. I'd put a long trade here or long trade here, and then I got this, so I can go a long trade on that sitting on the level here and keeping the stop under here. You see this is an impulse wave, so I wouldn't have been too worried about that, and so on. So I can see parts of it. I can see that this is not finished here as well, so I can see that this is 1 and 2 here, and this is 1 and 2, and I don't know if this is 1, 2, 3 to here, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to either way. We still got a little move up here. So moving up here from 35, the next level up from 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 is the next level up here. So this is 8 up here, and we're entering group 2 here. So group 2 is 65, 72, and 80. So we're going to be moving into this particular space here for that. And if we look at, I have to bring this chart up here. This is RIO here at the moment. So the same thing applies to RIO as well. We're looking at this, this whole move up here as possible with the ASX as an A and a B and a C wave up here. Now we've got 98 here, and we've got 100 here, which is, well, the 100 is a major level there, and that's where the resistance is going to be. So I don't know if this is all just an A and a B and a C wave here for a bigger B wave, and then we come down in 5 waves. I don't know that, or if this impulse wave moves up here and we pull back slightly and then we go up again here. So I don't know that. All I know is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can see in here that this 5 waves is just about completed. I won't pull it apart on tick chart. There's probably 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's probably got another little push here, but it's in its later stages, final stages here, and that would line up with the ASX 200 being in its final stages as well. So they're all tying in together. And Fortescue, we'd been looking at Fortescue, so MFG here. We'll take a quick look at that for a moment. So we know that that's heading up to a medium level here. And once again, this is the same pattern as well as the other guys. So we're looking up here. It's just this 5 wave sequence we're looking through here. And yes, it could be a 3rd wave, or it could be an A and a B and a C wave up here. We don't know. Once this completes here and starts, it's going to have a correction. It's going to pull back anyway, right? So if I can work out that it's corrective, then I know that we're in a bullish market from that point. So that's the point. I need to gather the evidence of what I see here, because it could just turn straight down from that point there, because we're also expecting the S&P 500 video. If you watch that, we're looking for an intermediate wave 1 top to be in play there. So it's quite possible that we can pull back quite deeply with all of these. So this is we're right at a particular point now this week, thinking the 6th of June, but obviously the 5th is Friday, so Friday or Monday we can have that turning point in the market. So yeah, next week is going to be a different, could be a different game, So the other thing here is the banks. Now, if we look at, I think it was BOQ. I'm just going to start with this, and I'll just explain that. So with the Bank of Queensland on the daily chart here, from the low here, it looks like we've got wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here. And I was always considering this being wave 4 here, and it may be an A and a B and a C wave here and then up here for that, right? But the other markets don't really have a clear sort of pattern down the bottom here. It is there. I'll have to go to CBA and we can look at ANZ and so on. So its 5 waves up would start from here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And look, it may make a new high here for wave 5. We knew there was some money being pumped into the system, as I mentioned yesterday. But we could have an A and a B and a C here and then up here. What I'm trying to say here is that like the ASX 200, we still have the same pattern in a way. We can look at this as an A and a B and a C wave here. So if I bring up the XJO, even though it's moved up much higher, as such, we've still got this as an A wave, a B wave, and then we're looking at 5 waves moving up into the 6,000, which is the 61.8% retracement level with all of this. So, up into this space here, so 6,130 roughly. So we're looking at we could be, if the market was going to fail, these when I'm showing you all of this is bringing them all in together, and this is where they could fail from. I'm not saying that it all will fail from this particular point, but it will certainly pull back and correct from that point. And that pullback, we need to work out if it's corrective or if it's impulsive to the downside. Because if it is to the downside, we can be coming way back down through here. The S&P doesn't give me that case. With the S&P, it's a different sort of scenario, but we still have to, well, for me anyway, I need to, I need to move through this last section here, this last 5 waves to the upside, and we need to work out if it's a corrective pattern. And quite simply, if it's in 3 waves here, we can take out this the second high here, and then we'll be bullish again, and we'll continue to move up much higher from that point. But it's a step-by-step process, and all I'm doing is waving some flags here and saying, this is the danger point, warning, 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 that kind of thing. So we'll check that out. So coming back to the banks, I'll go to ANZ this time, not that it's any different, all of them, but it's the same thing as well here. Once we get that new high in place here, that will give us 5 waves in this particular structure here, and that could be the end of it, and we could come down and make new lows here. I mean, the banks are really under pressure, and I mean, the government's pumping money into the banking system. I don't know, I didn't read the full article, but we all know that the government takes something like $72 billion from stamp duty from houses. We know that the banks are, fully into the housing market, 60%, maybe more. I don't know. That's not my cup of tea of all that whole thing. But the banks are fully into the property market. The government pulls in $72 billion from stamp duty, from all of that, which is about 20% of its total earnings, as such. So they're not going to let it. They're not going to let it fail. They're going to do all sorts of little tricks to suck money out of it in one way or another. But it's their job to basically support it. So they kind of got to support the banks, and this is what's sort of happening. But for us as traders, we need to figure out. I mean, we're just you come to me for patterns, and that's all I'm the pattern person. So all I'm saying is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves up here. Once that finishes, that could be a top, and that could bring us all the way down. It may not be the case. It may just be a little ABC correction, and then we push up again. But if we do push up again, then I know that we're going to go way up here. That's what I'm saying. So sorry to rabbit on. I'm not very intelligent, but it takes me a while to get the point across. So yeah, we're not really going to do anything with banks. We'll just chill on those. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to leave it at that actually. So thanks for putting up with me. Cheers.